What's going on, guys? In this video, I'm going to be talking about how I got into bodybuilding. I'm 23 years old right now. I've done 2 shows already, and I have my eyes set on getting my pro card one day. Many people have been asking me, Ryan, why aren't you competing this summer? Long story short, instead of competing this summer, I'm extending my off season and going to be putting my all into a competition next year in 2024. All right, before I talk about the 2 bodybuilding shows that I've done so far, I'm just going to give you guys a little rundown of how I kind of got started into training and lifting. When I was little growing up, as early as like 3rd or 4th grade, I was always into working out, looking good. At that point, I really didn't care about size or anything. I just wanted a 6-pack. I remember doing like push-ups and sit-ups in my bathroom and having conversations with my brothers like, oh, when I grow up, I don't want to be like super big like some of those bodybuilders. I don't want to have crazy muscles. I just want to look toned. Funny to look at that and think about that now, because now I'm doing the complete opposite. Once I got into high school, I started weight training freshman year of high school. So I was about like 15 years old, and I was simply doing it because of wrestling, just trying to put on more size. Working out with the team in the weight room after school 3 days a week, nothing crazy. Later in high school, I started taking it serious. I got my own gym membership. I started taking my nutrition a little bit more seriously, bringing my own meals to school and whatnot. And then once I was finished with high school and I didn't have any sports to play, the gym was right there to fill my time. So my first year of college, I stayed away, and pretty much all I did was party, eat, sleep, and train and go to class. I was around 19 or 20 at this time, and this is when I really started taking my fitness and bodybuilding serious. I started watching guys like Callum Von Mager, and I was also watching like old videos of Arnold talk about like his training methods and techniques. I would just hit the gym super hard, and then I would take advantage of the meal plan that I had. I would just go 3 or 4 times a day, as many times as I can, and it was great because they just had like a station where I could just get chicken, rice, and vegetables, and I'd eat that. In between classes, I would have like Greek yogurts, rice cakes, peanut butter, whatever I could do. And then after I was done with my classes or whatnot, I would just train with my friends and just go absolutely berserk. After training like that for a couple years, starting to do official bulks, and then once the summer comes around, starting to cut and get lean for the summer. Each year that I was training, I was always like progressing my knowledge and learning more and more, but I knew that like it was never enough. It especially came down to when I was cutting for the summer. I wanted to get that like conditioning, that level of leanness that you could really only get on stage, and that's when it kind of clicked in my head. It was like, okay, spending so much time and effort into this. I started watching like Anthony Mantello and Dylan McKenna at the time as well. They were recording their entire preps for their shows, starting at the beginning of their cut, recording everything leading up until their show day, which I thought was super cool because I got to see hands-on what it was like going throughout a prep. After kind of getting the experience from them, I knew that was something that I wanted to do. I made the decision after that summer when I was 19. I think it was the summer of 2020. Once I finished cutting for that, I made the decision that the next summer, I would do a bodybuilding show. So my whole goal was, all right, I'm going to take advantage of this winter. I'm going to bulk up, put on some good size. And then once it hits like March or April, then I'm going to start cutting for a show around like June or July. Since I had previous experiences of cutting in the past, I kind of knew a better idea of what I was doing, especially if I'm going to cut for a bodybuilding show. Keep in mind, too, you have that goal that's there, so that's something that's going to hold you accountable. It's a lot easier to say no and not cheat on your diet when you have a certain date where you need to look your best by. Instead of hiring a coach who's, sets up your meal plan, training, and all that for you, I said, bodybuilding is already expensive enough as it is. It's $200 just for the tan itself, let alone $150 for registration, and then $100 for each class that you join. A coach is $200 a month at the lowest, so there was no way I was affording that at 21 years old. So I self-coached myself through my first competition, and I gotta say, it went amazing. It could not have gone better. I mean, I could have won the overall, got my pro card my first show, but let's be realistic here. The prep went super smooth. I never cheated on my diet, did all my cardio, all my training sessions. I was so motivated because it was so exciting for me. This was something that I've been slowly getting into for like years now. Now that I'm finally here and I'm in the moment, it just felt so real. The only thing was, I like wasn't 100% sure if I was doing everything correctly, like leading up to the show. I wasn't 100% sure if I was on track to being like, to prep for the show. I was just kind of having fun with it, following like the basics of nutrition, training, doing my cardio, and sticking to the plan. So I probably took like 12 or 14 weeks to prep for that show. Like I said, leading up to that show the week before, everything went flawless. The only problems that arose was during that last week, that peak week. This is the time where you kind of need a coach, because this is where it really matters. If you don't nail your peak right, you can completely mess your look up on stage, and all that 12 to 14 weeks of dieting can go right down the toilet, because all that matters is the way you look on that stage for the few minutes you're up there, which is the craziest thing about bodybuilding when you think about it like that. You spend 12 to 14 weeks just for like a few seconds of fame on the stage. Totally worth it though. The thing about peak week is there's so many factors that go into it, and that's going to affect your look on stage. First off, depleting and carbing up before your show, the water and sodium manipulation, your training, how intense, how hard should you be going, and what food you should be eating. And that's only like the tip of the iceberg. Not that I was like panicking leading up to the show, but I was like, dude, I have no idea what to do. Like, I've never done a show before, so who do I go to? I had some people who I could talk to. They kind of gave me like a basic rundown. I had a general idea of what I was doing, but part of me was like, this is kind of like a make it or break it moment. If I fuck this up, like I said, those past weeks that I just put all that effort into could potentially go to waste. So I started binging videos on YouTube about different like peak week protocols, and the best one I found, Mountain Dog, had a great video. He ran down like a simple, easy peak week protocol, especially for like beginners and guys just getting into working out. But looking back, the peak week from my first show to my last show, completely different. And it mainly has to do with the food that I was consuming to like carb up and whatnot. I haven't had candy, I haven't had snacks, I haven't had sugar in weeks, in a couple months. So in my head, I'm thinking like, okay, candy, sweets, shit, Rice Krispies, like these are like fast digesting carbs. This shit's perfect for me to like consume to carb up with. All I ate before my show for my peak week, not my peak week, but when I was one day out and the day of my show, bro, I was just eating straight candy, chips, the most unhealthiest foods. Like, it's kind of crazy to think back that I was able to get away with that and still look good on stage and I didn't spill over or anything. This is what I'm talking about, where like I really had no idea what I'm doing, because like when people say, oh, you need to carb up for a show, you should be carbing up with the foods that your body is used to digesting and eating. So like white rice, rice cakes, very simple carbs that no issues are going to come up. And here I am down in fucking Snickers bars, ripping open Gusher packs, slamming them down. Hold up. I remember being backstage, seeing a guy whip out like a whole entire jar of honey, just take a spoonful. My brother's backstage with me. I look at him. I'm like, fuck, we forgot the honey. He's like, yo, I got you. I'll be right back. 2 minutes later, he went to the Starbucks, got like 5 honey packets. I'm drizzling them on the rice cakes, just munching them down. Actually, no, I was drizzling them on not rice cakes, Rice Krispie treats. That first show was just super cool. It was just like a shock being there because I've never been to a bodybuilding show before, so I was kind of just thrown in there. You just see like weird things. You go to the bathroom and there's dudes just like posing in the middle of like the room with their coaches. You're just trying to take a piss, maneuver your way around, and there's like these 250-pound bodybuilders just looking ripped in there. I'm talking to like my aunts and other people at the show, and they're like, oh my gosh, I went to go to the bathroom. There's fake tan all over the toilet seats and everything. But it was like a super cool environment to be in. Everyone backstage was super nice, super welcoming. And dude, the craziest part too was I actually ended up seeing Anthony Mantello at that show. It was like a cool moment because like I was saying before, I was watching his videos. He kind of got me into prep, got me into competing. So the fact that I got to see him at my show, awesome. Overall, that show went amazing. I competed in Classic Physique. I got 5th in Open, 4th in True Novice, and after that show, I absolutely fell in love with bodybuilding. And after that, I knew that one day I would eventually want to get my pro card. After that show, I had the post-show blues for a minute. If you guys don't know what that is, think about it this way. You spend so much time and energy leading up to a goal. Once that's done, it can be tough to find like a new goal to start going after and pursue. Your whole day is just surrounded around prep, around this bodybuilding show, and once that's over, you kind of feel like lost a little bit. You have to gain your bearings, get back on like a good routine, good schedule. And for me, that did not happen right away. I started liking, being able to cheat on my diet, not having to do cardio every day. I slowly slipped out of that like grind mindset that I was in, but I did not completely lose it. The winter hit again. I knew, okay, I want to start bulking again, start putting on size because I want to do a show this next summer. Me being so naive, I'm thinking, okay, if I placed 5th in Open last year, I'll fucking win the show next year. Yeah. Did not happen. This time around, my whole mentality is like, okay, last year I didn't even have a coach. This time I'm going to get a coach. I'm going to do it right. This is going to be awesome. So I ended up going with Dylan McKenna, who, like I said, I used to watch his videos, was super cool because I watched him go throughout his preps. Now that I had the opportunity to be coached by him, I thought this was like the perfect opportunity. So I think we did like a 12 to 16 week prep together and everything was awesome. I was completely dialed throughout the entire prep, followed every single meal plan, everything he told me to do, I fucking did. And the thing was with that show, it did not go as I expected. Like I said, I expected to, go from 5th and move my way up. But in Classic Physique, I did not even place top 5 that show. The thing was, I wasn't able to properly peak for the show. I'm going to put up some pictures of what I looked like on stage and then compare them with what I looked like a day or two after. You could tell that I look a little flat and like just watery on stage. And then 2 days after, I look full, filled out, veins popping, crazy. So who knows? That's why bodybuilding is one of these weird things, because it all that matters is the way you look like on stage, not 2 days after, not the day before, only when you're on stage when the judges can see you. So this was like kind of tough for me mentally at first, because like I said, I had very high expectations and I underdelivered. But this was almost like a blessing in disguise, because stepping on an NPC stage for the first time, you realize that you're going up against guys who live and breathe this shit just as much as you do, if not even more. On top of that too, I'm a young competitor. I'm only 23 years old, and there's some guys who have years and years of training on me. My last show I did, there's guys who are like 30, 40 years old. They have over a decade of training under their belt, and there's nothing that I could do about that. I'm automatically put at a disadvantage. That's why I say it was a blessing in disguise, because I knew inevitably at one point in my life I was going to have to take an extended off season, gain the necessary size to compete at the pro level. And after that show, that kind of clicked in my head for me as, okay, I'm not ready yet. I need to take a little bit more time, work on my weak points, build up my physique, focus on building some size. This isn't something that's just going to happen overnight. It took a while for me to accept that, but I'm kind of comfortable with that now. I've been able to swallow that pill. And the thing is, my goal specifically is I want to get my pro card in Classic Physique. But in Classic Physique, they break it up by your height group, and then each height group has a weight class. So I fall in between the 5'5", 5'6" category, and that means my weight cap, I believe, is like 165, 170 pounds. My last show, I was like 161, 162 pounds or so. So I still have a decent amount of weight to go before I'm filling my weight cap. 5 pounds of muscle, it may not sound a lot, but pure contractile tissue sounds a lot less than what it actually is. So like I said, I knew it was inevitable. I was going to have to take an extended off season, which puts me where I am at now. I started working with a new coach. I'm now working with Sebastian Burka. We started working with each other starting at January this year. Things didn't start off super smooth because I got injured after like a month working together. My idiot self, I went snowboarding, thought I was Shaun White, went off a jump and completely woofed it and ended up separating my AC joint, which put me out for like 6 to 8 weeks. Was not fun. However, though, I'm back to normal. I'm feeling good. For, a couple months now, I've been training hard. I'm 100% healthy now. Shoulder's feeling good. After I healed up from that shoulder injury, I started continuing pushing the growing phase again. I'm actually stopping my growing phase in a couple weeks, and I'm going to do a small mini cut, like a small fat loss phase. The way the timeline goes, it's already July. If I do a mini cut, that might put me at the end of summer. I'll start doing a growing phase throughout the fall and into my competition next year. So like I said, I hope to compete sometime in 2024. But ideally, I told Sebastian when I got with him, I don't want to step on stage until I'm ready to win. That's my goal, because I'm really serious about this. I really want to get my pro card, and I'm going to do it. That kind of sums up my history as a competitor and puts me to where I'm at now. If you guys enjoyed this video, please drop a like and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next ones. I'm really been trying to be more consistent with my YouTube, minimum of 1 video a week. If you guys are liking this style of videos where I kind of sit down and whatnot, as I'm switching it up a little bit from doing the vlogs, but let me know if you guys prefer the vlog/workout style over this. I'm just trying to mix it up. I'm trying to get consistent and put out more content to you guys, but I want to know what you guys want to like and want to see. So give me feedback, comment below, and let me know. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you.